Hi there YouTube, Extreme Trains here. In this video we're taking a look at another one of the AEG push-along engines. This one I think is one of the final ones for the Wave 2. If they're being broken into waves, I'm not 100% sure how they are being broken up. We just had a look at Emily, which was in this wave. Here we're taking a look at Gordon, who I finally managed to see in the wild along the pegs with Emily. Very excited to take a look at him because he's certainly an interesting model. What are we waiting for? Let's do it. Alright, let's take a look at Gordon. Very standard packaging. Nice picture of Gordon there. Normal kind of details. There he is. Hello! Same on the back. Alright, very quick look at the packaging. Let's open him up. Alright, let's take a look at Gordon. Firstly, just the engine. Again, the quick 360. Alright, taking a look. This Gordon face. Awesome face. Very accurate to all engines go and how he looks in the show. In terms of proportions, I think his boiler is a little bit too small. Like, the proportions obviously in all engines go are really weird. But Gordon particularly has a kind of a huge boiler and a huge face. And in this one, he's much more proportionate than he is in the show. So while I think this is quote unquote more realistic compared to a real engine, compared to how he looks in the show, I think this is actually a little bit less realistic. So interesting decision they've made there. But, you know, that's okay. It is what it is. Unfortunately, although he's got the custom buffers, as in, you know, the oval buffers, he doesn't have them painted for some reason, which is unusual given how much extra paint we've seen on this line. For example, you can see James in the back there does have painted buffers. So, yeah, I don't know why they didn't paint the buffers on Gordon. That's a miss if you ask me. Otherwise, coming around looking at the side, again, the high level of detail that we can have come to expect from these all engines go push-along engines is present. Little details on the side here. The cylinder block is there, which is nice. We've got the little, you know, again, separately molded wheel splashes, which look great. I think they're almost just, they look like they're actually a separate piece, which is good. And they line up, yeah, not too badly with the wheels. So that is nice to see. Again, we've got here this, you know, nice detailing. Even, for example, if we come to the whistle, a separately molded piece, which is, for example, not what we had on James or Hero. And it's even got a little notch out of it. So it's not just reusing Thomas's, it's a specially custom piece for Gordon. That's really nice. Again, the cab here, quite squashed, but it does have the distinctive Gordon roof, as well as the windows here. Nothing on the back, but we do have those buffers. In terms of a wheel arrangement, again, not entirely accurate, but it's the same that they've just been using for pretty much all of the tender engines. Again, given Emily had the detailing on her wheels, I don't know why the other tender engines don't have it. That is a weird decision for them to make, given they're doing it for some. Again, it's like Thomas Wooden Railway. It doesn't feel like the graphic design is totally consistent between all the different engines. So I'm not 100% sure what is going on there. And then if we come to the tender, again, this is a very similar tender. I actually think it might be the same tender. Let's do a quick comparison. As we had on James. So it looks like the chassis at the bottom is the same and the top is the same. But for whatever reason, Gordon has buffers on the front and the back of his tender. So James only has buffers on the back, which is fine. He doesn't need buffers on the front. But for whatever reason, they've given Gordon a slightly different design, and he has got the buffers on the front and the back, but they're round buffers. They're not the oval buffers like they should be. So, yeah, look, take that how you will. Otherwise, you know, it's fine. It's just it's an all engines go tender, which are, you know, kind of comically small and strangely designed. Putting him together, definitely Gordon, looks pretty good. It has the same issues with scaling as I've talked about in the previous tender engine videos. You know, Gordon is meant to be a lot larger than Thomas in the show. I mean, it almost looks like Thomas's face is almost bigger than Gordon's, which is just crazy. But, you know, that is fine because that's just the way they're doing this line. As people have pointed out, if you want to have a more in-show scale accurate size comparison, you should get the motorized tender engines and combine it with the push-along tank engines. So, you know, that is what it is. In terms of some comparisons with some other tender engines, if we take a look here, do a comparison to James. Again, they got the same chassis, so it's unsurprising they're the same size. Not totally accurate, but I don't hate it either. You know, they're both well detailed. They both look like who they're supposed to look like, and they've got all the key elements. And I think that is the important thing that I've been seeing with these new All Engines Go engines is that they really are taking the key elements of each character and preserving them across the different lines, even if the execution of them sometimes is a little bit funny. So in terms of a price, this Gordon costs the quote-unquote standard price of these push-along engines in Australia, so I picked him up for $12. Again, is he worth $12? I'm not sure, but for example, as I said, when I saw these selling for on a New Zealand website, these engines were selling for $25 to $30 each. This was $12. And if you asked me as a kid, or even as an adult, which would I rather prefer? Would I prefer to have this Thomas Wooden Railway Thomas for $25, $30? Or would I rather have this Gordon and this James for $25, $24? I think it would be pretty clear what I would be wanting as a kid. I'd be wanting to get these engines because still very well detailed. You get a lot more toy for your bang for your buck. And so I think it's going to be very difficult to justify paying more for the Thomas Wood engines. But maybe that was the strategy. Maybe that Mattel thought, well, look, you know, we're going to have an ultra premium Thomas toy, so we can afford to raise these prices because they're going to look very, very cheap in comparison to Thomas Wooden Railway. So, not sure. Happy to hear people's comments about that down below. Otherwise, that's all we've got time for. This is a review of the All Engines Go Push Along Gordon. Thanks for watching. This is Extreme Trains.